You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. It's now time for us to do you a reminder as we track stories that made headlines last week.
Welcome to Tracking the Week. 6 states in the southwest on Monday held public hearings on the creation of Amotekun. Amotekun was inaugurated on January 9 in Ibadan, Oyo State. The 6 states involved are Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, and Oyo. It is the first security outfit initiated by state in a geopolitical zone in Nigeria. In Ondo State, the chairman, Southwest Governors Forum, and governor of the state, Rotimi Akeredolu SAN, justified the need for the creation of Amotekun. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Bamidele Oloyalogun, said the bill involved the protection of life and property of the people. Speaking for the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Organization, Afenifere, the Secretary General of the association, Seyinde Arugbofa, said the Amotekun bill would enable the outfit to work independently. The Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, on Monday declared that Amotekun had come to stay. He spoke at a public hearing on a bill to establish Amotekun in Lagos State. He said the outfit had become important for the protection of life and property. In his opening remark, the chairman of the Committee on Information and Security, Tunde Braimo, said the protection of life and property was the most important responsibility of government as stipulated in the Constitution. In Ogun State, the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General, Akingbolahan Adeniran, said the state government would not allow politicians to hijack the operations of Amotekun. The Attorney General spoke at the Ogun State House of Assembly public hearing on Amotekun. Justice Okon Abang of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday sentenced a former spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, Olisa Metu, to 7 years in prison for laundering 400 million naira. Abang, who delivered the judgment, had earlier declared Metu guilty of the 7-count charge, which includes fraudulent receipt of 400 million naira from the Office of the National Security Advisor in November 2014, and use of the money for political activities of the PDP and for his personal purposes. The matter had been on for 4 years. The judge also convicted Metu for doing transactions with $2 million in cash without going through a financial institution. He sentenced Metu to 7 years imprisonment for count 1, 2, 4, and 7, 5 years imprisonment for count 3, and 3 years in respect of count 5 and 6. He, however, said the prison terms will run concurrently, meaning Metu will spend a maximum 7 years in jail unless his conviction is obtained by a higher court. Abang also directed Metu to pay a fine of 375 million naira to the federal government of Nigeria. He also ordered Destra Investment to pay 25 million naira to the federal government of Nigeria. The judge also ordered that the account of Destra, the second defendant in Diamond Bank and Asset Resource Management, be closed and their proceeds forfeited to the federal government. He also ordered the winding up of Destra, Metu's company. The Supreme Court on Wednesday dismissed the applications for a review of its February 13, 2020 judgment, which overturned the All Progressives Congress victory in the last governorship election in Bayelsa State. A 7-man panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Sylvester Unguta, described the applications filed by the APC and its governorship candidate at the poll, David Lyon, as vexatious, frivolous, and constituted a gross abuse of court process. Justice Amina Ogi, who read the lead judgment, said the applications amount to an invitation for the Apex Court to sit in appeal of its earlier judgment in violation of the Constitution. She held that it would amount to violating the finality of its judgment if the applications were granted. She said granting the applications would open a floodgate for the review of decisions of the Supreme Court. Quote, "There must be an end to litigation," she said, adding the decision of the Supreme Court is final for ages in a matter and only legislation could change it. She said with tears in her eyes she regretted that very senior lawyers were responsible for filing the applications. The Apex Court awarded the cost of 10 million naira to be personally paid by Lion's lawyer, Chief Afebabalola SAN, and the APC's lawyer, Chief Wale Olanipekun SAN. It's true that each of the lawyers must pay the 10 million naira to each of the three respondents, the People's Democratic Party, Governor Doye Diri, and the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Erujakpo. The House of Representatives on Thursday resolved to investigate the slow pace of rehabilitation and expansion works on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Road, and the Second Niger Bridge, to be investigated at the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, Julius Berger, and other contractors engaged for the project. The resolution followed the unanimous adoption of a motion moved by Ifeanyi Moma at the plenary on Thursday. Adopting the motion, the House mandated the House Committee on Works to determine if the contractors have the capacity to deliver the contract awarded as scheduled. The committee is also to investigate the level of work done on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Expressway, and the Second Niger Bridge in order to determine if the amount disbursed so far has a commensurate value with the job done till date. Also, the panel will determine if there is a potential conflict of interest in awarding the single contractor and if the contract sum have been inflated. The committee is to report back to the House within 4 weeks. Moving the motion, Moma said, quote, "There is evidence of slow pace of work on these three critical projects, namely Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Expressway, and the Second Niger Bridge. This, he said, has resulted in traffic congestion, fatal accidents being recorded daily, and a downturn in the economy of the state bordering this project." He further alleged that there is a potential conflict of interest in Julius Berger's involvement in the Second Niger Bridge. The Second Niger Bridge is made up of 3 sections. Phase 1 is the bridge, Phase 2A is Benin to Asaba Expressway, and Phase 2B is Onitsha to Enugu Expressway. According to the lawmaker, a Swiss challenge bid process ought to be adopted to avoid a potential conflict of interest. On Friday, the Federal Ministry of Health confirmed the first case of coronavirus COVID-19 in Nigeria. Minister of Health Dr. Osagie Hanire confirmed the case during a press conference. According to the minister, the case involves an Italian citizen who works in Nigeria and just returned from Milan, Italy on the 25th of February 2020. Hanire disclosed that the Italian passed through the airport screening procedure without being detected, as he showed no symptoms of the disease at the time of arriving the Lagos International Airport on the 25th of February, noting that the disease was, however, detected about 2 days later after he suddenly took ill. He was confirmed to be positive by the Virology Laboratory of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, part of the laboratory network of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC). The minister, however, noted that the patient is clinically stable with no serious symptoms and is being managed by the Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba, Lagos. The health minister said, owing to the current prevailing situation in the country, 4 major Nigerian cities, that is Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt and Kano, are currently under focus, both for containment and prevention of the spread of the coronavirus. He further added that Nigeria is constantly improving in the area of preparedness to tackle the outbreak of COVID-19.